Hey everyone, I'm talking about my book, God, Where Are You? And it's basically a book about the season of wilderness. Wilderness is when God seems like He's a million miles away and the promises He's made to you are even further. In fact, it looks like you're regressing. You're not progressing towards those promises. What is the purpose of this wilderness? Number one, it is the season where God matures you. He grows you up. Number two, it's a season in which He works humility in our life, which is so important. Number three, it's a season of self-discovery. In other words, we find out things that are in our life we didn't realize were there. Number four, it is a season of purification. Now, this is what I really want to emphasize. God purifies, gets the things that would destroy us out of our life. Listen carefully to me. We've seen tragedy happen in the church. We've seen so many leaders in their 40s and 50s. All of a sudden, dark secrets come to the surface that were there for years and years and years. Maybe it was addiction to pornography, which led into immorality, which led into adultery. And the church has been shocked by some of these things that have happened. Well, let me tell you something very clearly. David went through a wilderness season. He was anointed to be king. He was going to be the next man to sit on Israel's throne, and the senior prophet said it. He comes into Saul's palace, he finds favor, but then he finds himself living in caves and deserts and wildernesses. Saul never went through a wilderness. Saul had a false humility. He didn't realize that there was a lot of pride in his heart. He never went through that wilderness to expose it. And so what happened was, after his first victory, look at it, when Saul was anointed to be king, he was hiding in the equipment. When Samuel approached him and gave the word, he was like, I'm the least in my father's house, and we're the least in our entire tribe. He has a false humility because his first major battle, he builds a monument to himself. And this ends up destroying him. You wonder why, what has happened, how can ministers or people in the church do these wild, stupid, crazy things? It's because they didn't allow the purification process of the wilderness to work its work. I was sharing recently in one of our sessions how that I saw ugly things come up when I went through my first and second wilderness. In fact, I've seen ugly things come up in every wilderness season. I have to own those things because that's part of the purification process. That's when we give God the permission to take this junk out of our life. If we blame everybody else, it stays in us. But if we own it, then God removes it. You can't just blame your family. You can't just blame your friends. So here's the deal. It would be much better for you in your earlier years to get this stuff out of your life so it's not exposed later and causes harm and damage in a lot of people's lives. What would have happened if some of these ministers would have addressed these issues in their early years, maybe when God was bringing them through that wilderness? They wouldn't have had that situation of immorality later on. I want to encourage you, don't fight against God's process of purification. Allow Him to purify your life so that you will bring glory to Jesus.